He ruled with an iron fist, turning fear into politics, violence into method, and death into mere statistics. Behind the image of an unyielding leader and savior of the Soviet homeland, Joseph Stalin hid an empire built on human suffering. He didn't just kill, he rewrote reality, erased lives, destroyed families, and silenced entire generations. This is the dark story of the man who orchestrated some of the greatest massacres of the modern era, yet was still worshipped as a hero. Born as Joseph Jugashvili in a small town called Gori in Georgia, Stalin grew up surrounded by poverty, violence, and religious fanaticism. His father was a violent alcoholic, and his mother a devout woman who dreamed of seeing her son become a priest. But young Joseph already harbored a silent obsession with power and revenge. He entered seminary school, but soon traded faith for forbidden books and secret meetings. His new god was revolution. Still young, he adopted the name Stalin, meaning man of steel, and it was under that name that he would enter history. As one of the most ruthless dictators of the 20th century, after the Russian Revolution of 1917, while the Soviet Union was being born out of chaos, Stalin was already infiltrating the upper echelons of power. Discreet, manipulative, and extremely patient, he knew how to wait for the right moment. When Lenin fell ill, Stalin presented himself as a loyal ally, but behind the scenes, he plotted against every rival. After Lenin's death in 1924, Stalin launched a brutal political purge. Trotsky, Lenin's closest revolutionary partner, was exiled and later assassinated. Other leaders, former comrades, mysteriously vanished. Stalin seized total control of the Soviet machine, turning the communist utopia into an absolute nightmare. In the years that followed, he would implement one of the most brutal campaigns of repression in history, the Great Purge. Between 1936 and 1938, over 1 million people were executed and millions more were sent to gulags, forced labor camps where survival was rare. The most shocking part, many were killed for no reason at all. Intellectuals, military officers, artists, peasants, teachers, anyone could be accused of treason and eliminated. Execution quotas were set, as if human lives were mere numbers in a spreadsheet. Interrogations involved torture, forced confessions, and staged trials. Paranoia consumed the Soviet Union. Silence became a matter of survival. But Stalin went even further. He weaponized hunger. In Ukraine, between 1932 and 1933, he ordered the forced requisition of crops, grain, and livestock, depriving millions of any chance to survive. The borders were sealed. Anyone who tried to flee was executed. The result was the Holodomor, an artificial famine that killed around 4 million people, mostly peasants and children. Horror spread. Corpses in the streets, entire villages emptied, and reports of cannibalism. Meanwhile, Stalin denied everything. The world watched in silence or believed the regime's carefully crafted lies. During World War II, Stalin was seen by the West as a strategic ally against Hitler. But even a global war didn't soften his internal tyranny. Soviet soldiers were sent to the front without enough weapons, forced to advance or die. Those who retreated were executed by their own officers. After the war, instead of peace, came more oppression. The gulags expanded, filled with political prisoners, dissidents, foreigners, and even Soviet soldiers captured by the Nazis, now accused of treason. Conditions were inhumane: extreme cold, starvation, exhausting labor, and relentless psychological torture. Over his 30 years in power, it's estimated that more than 20 million people died, directly or indirectly, due to Stalin's orders. But the statistics never reflect the true horror. Every number was a life erased, and that was exactly Stalin's intention, not just to kill, but to erase any trace they ever existed. Photos were edited to remove faces of former allies. Documents were forged. Witnesses were silenced. Stalin wasn't just a tyrant, he was an architect of fear. When he died in 1953, many cried, but no one knew if it was out of grief or relief. His funeral was grand, but his legacy rotted beneath the rubble of unacknowledged victims. Decades later, Russia still debates whether he was a hero or a monster. But the archives don't lie. The mass graves, the hidden diaries, the silent survivors, they all tell the same story. Joseph Stalin didn't save a nation. He mutilated it to keep his throne. And this is just one of many dark truths buried beneath the curtain of propaganda. If you want to keep uncovering the filthy secrets of history's most feared leaders, subscribe to the channel, because here we dig up what the world tried to bury.